Hi, I'm Cesare. Let's just open terminal, see where I have ahead my path with ls, change directory into desktop, make folder, then inside it I created default React app with this command. For this command to be executable, I need to install Node.js. In package.json, I can see my scripts and dependencies. By running npm start, a development server will be started to host my React project on localhost. React is an open source JavaScript library for building user interfaces. It allows me to create reusable UI components, update and render them based on changes in data. It has advantages such as virtual DOM, which is a copy of actual DOM to update and render changes faster. Also disadvantages such as being tricky for search engines to optimize. React is all about components. They are in my components and pages folder with this direction and data flow. Components are regular JavaScript functions that returns JSX, and by exporting the component, I can let it be reusable in other files. By importing, I can call and bring a component from another path and reuse it here without repeating code. By creating custom HTML elements, I decide what I want to have as the end result and in what order. Before return, we have instructions of what React process to change what we see in the screen. In return, we use JSX, which is a mix of JavaScript and HTML, into one accessible JSX file. Data is accessed by curly braces. Index.js is my starting port and all other components are rendered inside it. Props act like arguments in JS and make a component configurable to accept different data. Props are objects made of key values pairs. Data is passed down from a parent component to its child component as a set of read-only properties. For example, I declared products data and add to cart function here, then when I call all products somewhere else, I have them as props. Each component in React has a lifecycle. Mounting is putting elements into the DOM. It updates whenever there is a change in the component's state or prop, and unmounts when a component is removed from the DOM. I used map method to loop through each element in the products array and create a product cart component for each product in the array, and I set each product's ID as key. Map method executes a callback function that takes the product as an argument and renders a product cart component in return. A split operator allows me to split the cart array and make a new array with product included in it. A split operator is an ES6 update. I also used arrow functions, a new syntax of declaring functions, and the structuring to extract values from arrays or objects and assign them to variables. Also template literals to embed expressions inside a string and modules. React hooks are simple JavaScript functions to add stateful logic and lifecycle methods to functional components. Hooks can be stateful and can manage side effects. States are important for changing what we see in the screen dynamically. For example, if I add or remove products from my shopping cart, I need the last count. UseState returns an array of two elements saved with array destructuring. First is a state and second is for changing the state. It has a boolean starting value that I pass as argument. Then there is a variable state called clicked and a function to change its state. Whenever setClicked is called, React executes the component and update what is rendered on the screen. UseEffect lets me to run some code under certain conditions. First argument is the option, second argument is the array of dependencies. If there is no dependencies, then effect executes on each render. If it is empty brackets with no dependency, then it renders just first time and no more times. If it has a dependency, it runs whenever the value of dependency changes. For example, whenever API URLs endpoints changes, side effect executes. It fetch new data and set it in the state value. Then it maps through the new data and fetch again. With inspecting in Components tab, I can get a components diagram of my application, see its props, source file, its DOM room element, log data to the console, or view source file. React generates HTML content to render on client side. This means search engine crawlers may face difficulty to index content of application. With server-side rendering technique, the React application is rendered on the server and the resulting HTML content is sent to the client, so search engine crawlers can easily index the content. A third-party library in React is a pre-built set of code created by someone else. It can be imported and used to add specific features. I've used React Simply Carousel to add carousels, React Router to navigate in different pages. It also helps with SEO, and React Colorer to use color picker. We used Vercel for building and deployment and had a GitHub repository to develop site. We made almost 21 branches, each for a component.